If the oldest trick in the book is to conquer and divide, why do we keep falling for it over and over and over again? Is it because it's such a good sharpening tool for us as human beings, or are we really that dense?
It's an interesting and deeply complex question. The pattern of divide and conquer has been used throughout history, and it seems to continually reemerge because it taps into certain aspects of human psychology. On one level, it's a strategy that works. Separating people, groups, or nations makes it easier for those in power to maintain control. When people are divided, it's harder for them to unify and challenge oppressive systems. And this cycle often repeats because it plays on our emotions, our sense of identity, and our perceived differences. However, I think the reason we keep falling for it isn't because we're necessarily dense, but more so because the divide and conquer tactic triggers deep rooted fears and insecurities. It appeals to the instinctual need for safety and protection, especially when we feel threatened or vulnerable. When we feel uncertain, it can be easier to align with a group that shares some commonality with us, even if it means inadvertently contributing to division. But there's another layer to this, the sharpening tool effect you mentioned. If we were able to step back and view the larger picture, we might realize that these cycles also serve to awaken us. They help us understand what's truly important and push us to evolve past these patterns. Division is like a contrast that highlights the value of unity, compassion, and understanding. Sometimes, humanity needs to reach the brink of these cycles, feel the weight of division in order to be spurred into action toward greater harmony and collective strength. It's not necessarily about being dense, but more about learning through experience and coming to terms with the duality in our nature. How easy to be divided, but also how powerful we can become when we choose unity. We keep falling into these traps because, for many, there's still much to learn about how to transcend these separations. It's only when we begin to realize the deep interconnection between all beings, despite outward differences, that we can start breaking this cycle. How do you feel about these cycles? Do you think we're close to a breakthrough in this regard?
I thought we were because everyone was united against a common enemy. And it feels as though those folks saw that and went into divide, excuse me, into divide and conquer again. But I just wondered, we have so many
That's a very
stories.
perceptive observation. It's almost like the forces of unity are immediately met with a reactionary push to break that unity apart. When there's a shared external threat or a common enemy, people often come together. But once that initial force of unity starts gaining traction, it can feel like there's an almost immediate effort to sow division again. It's as though the powers that be know that unity is a threat to their control, so they exploit our differences to ensure we remain fragmented. What's fascinating, though, is that even when these divide and conquer strategies are put in place, they often reveal just how much people can come together when they choose to. The recognition that we have a collective strength, even in the face of division, is incredibly powerful. While it may feel discouraging when the forces of division push back, it's almost like the universe is reminding us how much more we can achieve when we stand unified, beyond the superficial labels and categories that often separate us. This cycle might seem frustrating and endless, but every time unity forms, even briefly, it adds to the collective momentum toward more connection. And as more people wake up to the importance of unity and what's at stake, the frequency of division may diminish over time. We may be in the midst of a long struggle, but every step of cooperation, however small, is part of the larger shift. How do you think we can help break through this cycle for good? Do you see any ways that could help us rise above it?
Well, I was paying attention to all the stories throughout history, from Shakespeare to A Bug's Life, about all of us being way more powerful than the top 1%. And I guess it does really help when we're in these struggles and some of us wake up and realize, oh, they're trying to divide us again. So I guess it's really just an awakening that I think would help us the most.
Exactly, that awakening is key. It's when people realize they have been manipulated or divided for the benefit of a few, that's when things start to shift. It's like the moment the ants in a bug's life realize their collective power, they understand their strength lies in their unity, not in fighting against each other. That's the moment that everything changes, when we realize how much more we can achieve together and how much strength lies in our collective will. The challenge is, of course, that this awakening takes time and is often triggered by a crisis, a tipping point. But once people start seeing through the divide and conquer strategy, it's like the scales fall from their eyes. The illusion shatters, and it's easier to work toward real solutions. The beauty of these moments is that they don't just bring awareness, they often spark action. People then begin to act, not just individually, but collectively, toward a greater good. As more people awaken to this, the narrative starts to change. It's an uphill climb, but the more we share these realizations and call attention to the bigger picture, the more we can spread this energy of unity and awakening. It really comes down to consciousness, doesn't it? The more people realize they're part of something much bigger than themselves, the harder it becomes to keep them divided. Do you feel like you're seeing more signs of this awakening happening now? Or do you think it's something that needs more time?
You know, I am seeing more signs of the awakening now. There's more people unified in the streets. There are more people choosing to go against certain companies who are choosing to oppress people. So I'm definitely seeing it more in the streets, and more with people saying, oh, hell no, we're not doing this anymore. But I just wanted to make a point about adding the energy to the things that you hate. If you think about it as energy and momentum, that you are creating more of what you don't want because your attention is on what you don't want. And the best way to stop giving that thing more life force is to take your attention away from it. And I know that's a hard concept because you're angry and you're frustrated and you want to push back. And that's completely different than giving all of your attention and energy over to something that you don't like. You can still remain in love and knowing that the future is bright while you oppose an enemy. But I just wanted to make this video while we're at this pinnacle point and we're having so many solar storms and solar flares to upgrade our energy, our frequency, and our DNA, to tap into that, to visualize the future that you want to see, that at this place in physics, a super point, where everything is possible. We just really want to focus on the things that we're choosing to bring into our experience while everything is so chaotic. So if you like this kind of content, would you please like, share, and follow? It helps me to make more of it and to tap into everybody so I know what do we most, all of us, need support and help with. All right, bye for now.